Hi everyone, this video is about expanding brackets. So expanding a set of brackets means rewriting the expression without the brackets such that it's still a mathematically equivalent statement, meaning that once you've done what you had before you expanded and what you have after you expanded are still mathematically still saying the same thing. You don't just remove the brackets and call it a day. So to do this, we need to multiply the term in front of the brackets with each term inside one at a time. This actually relates to the distributive law. So with all that said, let's jump into a few examples. So what we need to do is we want to expand these brackets. So starting off with this first question, we have the 5 sitting at the front, and I want to multiply by everything inside one at a time. So 5 times A is 5A, 5 times 7 is 35. So 5 times A, 5A, and then 5 times 7 is 35. And that's all there is to it. So looking at this next one, first of all, we'll do 3A times 2A. So 3 times 2 is 6, and then we had 2 A's, so there'll be A squared. And then going to this next one, note that there is a negative in front of the 5. So what we're actually doing here is we're doing 3 times negative 5. So 3 times negative 5 is negative 15. And then we also have the A sitting there as well. Now we can't simplify this any further because this first term is a 6A squared, whereas the second term is 15A. Even though they both have A's, as we saw with addition and subtraction, they had to be completely identical. So don't do 6 minus 15 at this point. That's the answer. Looking at this third one, note that in front of here we actually have a negative this time. So when we're doing our multiplications, we need to be multiplied by negative 4. So let's put that back. So if we do negative 4 times 2, that equals negative 8. And then we have our 2 x's, so x squared. And then when I do negative 4 times negative 5, negative 4 times negative 5, take note that they are both negatives. And as we know, when we're multiplying two negatives together, we should be getting a positive. So negative 4 times negative 5 equals positive 20. And then we have an x and we have a y. So just writing those together as well. So those are some simple expansions. What we can then also be asked to do is expand and then simplify. So let's start off with this first example. What we want to do is let's first expand. So 4 times x is 4x. And then 4 times negative 9. Again, keeping track that that is a negative. So I need to be multiplying by negative 9. So 4 times negative 9 equals negative 36. And then I can just rewrite the plus 2x and the plus 11. I'm not multiplying the 2x and the 11 by 4 because that 4 is only related to the things that are inside the bracket. It has nothing to do with the 2x or the 11. So now that we have those, we can now look to add and subtract our like terms. So we can add the 4x and the 2x to give me 6x. Again, not 6x squared. You don't change the powers of letters when you're adding and subtracting. So 4x plus 2x equals 6x. And then negative 36 plus 11 equals negative 25. All right. And then going into the second one, we see our expression has 2 sets of brackets. So the first step we want to do is expand both of those sets of brackets before we look to simplify. So 6a times 4 is 24a. 6a times negative 3, well, 6 times negative 3 is negative 18, and we have 2 a's, so we have a squared. And then going into the second set of brackets, be careful that this is saying negative 2, so we need to multiply each term by negative 2 inside. So negative 2 times 5 equals negative 10a. And then we also have negative 2 times 6, which equals negative 12. Now looking to simplify the expression, we can simplify the a's because we see that and we see that. So 24, and we need to look at the sign that's in front of the 10. So 24 minus 10a is 14a. Again, we don't get rid of the a. So this would equal 14a. And then we can't do anything with the a squares, so we're just going to write that again, minus 18a squared. And we can't do anything with the 12 either, so we just do minus 12. And that's the end of that question. So fairly simple stuff. Expanding just means multiplying the thing in front of the brackets with each thing inside, and then simplify if you need to. Have fun.